All right, welcome back to Plant-Based Kidney Health. As always, I'm Dr. Sean Hashmi, and my partner is Michele Crosmer. So, Michele, I got an interesting question for you today, which is my favorite drink. So tell us about coffee and kidney disease, and what about decaf?
Yeah, so we get asked this all the time. So the thing with coffee that is important to kind of where we want to start is one, there are benefits of coffee. There's antioxidant properties in coffee, and so we do know that there are benefits. There's even research showing that people who drink coffee potentially have lower incidences of type 2 diabetes, liver disease. There's again anything with that disease that antioxidants are benefiting. We see that with coffee. There's also studies that in the general population, people who drink coffee have lower incidence of kidney disease. And so that's something that's very interesting as well. So how does that then relate to people with actual kidney disease? And I think a lot of the fear around kidney or coffee with kidney disease is that it's a diuretic, it's dehydrating, and that is going to be bad for your kidneys. And the other side of it is that it has, coffee contains oxalates, and people who have kidney stones, need to be cutting oxalates. And so that's a whole nother topic. We'll have a whole episode on oxalates in and of itself. But research actually shows for kidney stones that coffee and tea, people usually have lower rates of kidney stones. And then from the standpoint of people with kidney disease, usually the coffee is not this, diuretic or dehydrating when one, people are drinking enough water, and two, they're not drinking excessive amounts of coffee, whether it's decaf or regular. And that sweet spot is usually about 1 to 3 cups per day. And that's usually where any studies that show benefits of drinking coffee is in that sweet spot too, of about 1 to 3 cups a day. Standard size cup of coffee though is 8 ounces. It's not a venti, it's not a Trenta, it's not even, if you think of like a small or a tall coffee at Starbucks, that's 12 ounces. So if you're drinking 3 of those a day, you're having a lot more, you're having more than 3 cups of coffee. And so one of the things is the volume of coffee that's consumed. Potassium can add up really quickly in coffee if you are drinking large volumes of it. 1 8-ounce cup of brewed coffee is around 115 milligrams of potassium. And so that is something you want to keep in mind if you have a potassium restriction. The other thing is what you put in your coffee. Crappy creamers, a bunch of sugar, are things you want to keep in mind, because it's usually like that's what you put in it. And then the important thing to remember too is caffeine. If you're sensitive to caffeine, if it is making you anxious, if it's not allowing you to sleep well at night, and poor sleep is a whole nother thing for kidney health, then that's where you wouldn't want to be having the caffeine. But both decaf and regular coffee, there are those antioxidant benefits of it. So either one would be fine to consume. And then the other thing with that is just keeping in mind again that is staying hydrated. So if you are, overnight, you wake up, you've been fasting, you haven't had any water, and then you go straight to coffee and you have a cup, 2 cups of coffee, and now it's 12 in the afternoon, you're sitting down at lunch, and that's the first time you're drinking water. You're probably dehydrated by that point. And so I think it's important starting your day with a big glass of water before you're going into your coffee, and then being mindful of how much coffee you drink and what you're putting in it. But overall, coffee is not this thing that people with kidney disease need to fear. And there's even some research, and I'm going to bring you in on this, on acute kidney injury and coffee, and a new research out on that.
Yeah, so in terms of acute kidney injuries, the same concept is coffee has anti-fibrotic properties, and people who are regular coffee drinkers, and the optimal dose is about 2 to 3 cups, 8 ounces per day, caffeinated or decaffeinated. This one was caffeinated coffee that they studied. They found that the incidence of acute kidney injury was actually lower by double digits, closer to about 17% or so going on. So the bottom line when it comes to coffee is there are so many other benefits of coffee that we don't quite understand. So you can't replicate it with a pill just yet. But if you do it, take Michele's advice, make sure that you stay hydrated on it. And if you are sensitive to caffeine and you can't put it down, take it before 10 a.m. Don't rely on the idea that the half-life is 4 hours. Our bodies, especially as we get older, oftentimes those half-lives are not as accurate. So caffeine can stay in your system much longer, 8, 10 hours. So that's why before 10 a.m., most people can tolerate that better than doing it a little bit later in the day.
All right, that's it on coffee and kidney disease, and we'll see you guys next time.